mean, look, Starmer wants to introduce this system now to allow more people under the age of 30 or even up to 40 to come in from Europe. How many of those are care workers? It's a completely flawed system that we won't pay care workers, but we will open the doors again to allow more people to come to this country.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom, and we're joined now by journalist and broadcaster Mike Parry and former Labour MP Stephen Pound in the studio to discuss all today's headlines. And, of course, our very own Patrick Christys has been in Calais yesterday, and we're
doing great work.
And we're going to have a look at a couple of the clips that he took before we discuss them.
If I said to you, look, we don't have enough houses in England, would that stop you coming to England?
Okay. Maybe I come back in my country and I change in another country after.
Yeah, maybe you try another country if you realise that we can't afford England. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is going to sound awful to people who are just watching. I don't mean any disrespect to anyone who's here, but the smell is absolutely overpowering. You've got people on top of each other.
Oh, so Stephen Pound and Mike Parry. I'm glad he mentioned what he mentioned, the tents there, because, of course, they don't stay in hotels in Calais, do they?
No, of course not.
By the French taxpayer.
No.
They have to stay in tents and lump it.
Of course, and it's costing us £4 million a day.
They're also not claiming asylum in Calais, are they?
Sorry?
They're not claiming asylum. That's the difference to Britain.
They're not claiming asylum in Calais because they come here. They know we're a much softer touch.
We are a softer
£4 million a day. Can I just link this with another story? Reeves created perfect storm as unemployment hits 4-year high, because in my view, £4 million a day is what we're paying out to accommodate people coming across the English Channel.
Just put them in hotels.
To put them in hotels, that's what I'm saying. So Rachel Reeves has got to raise money to put people in those hotels at £4 million a day. And yet I'm talking to the man who runs my local pub saying we're on the brink. We're on the brink of closing because of the extra taxes that have been put on, business rates, minimum wage increase, having to pay more national insurance, and having to take on fewer bar staff, which means they can serve fewer customers. Businesses in this country are on the brink, and it's all linked to the fact that she's putting up taxes to pay for things like us accommodating migrants in this country.
Mike, that's a completely false corollary. Look,
it is not false,
I'm sorry,
Stephen.
look, hang on a second. Let's get a couple of things straight. Firstly, if the economy is in such dire straits, why on earth are people risking their lives to get here? And secondly,
because we just add to our national debt in order to pay benefits.
All we're reading in the paper today is about a massive jobs crisis in the care sector. We don't have enough people working. There are more job vacancies in the care sector than ever before.
But that's a completely flawed policy.
It is, because we gave out 150,000 social care work visas, and it reduced the vacancy rate by 21%.
When you say we, you mean the previous Conservative government? Because that was
the government over the past 2 years reduced the vacancy rate by just 21,000 jobs. You cannot claim that those social care work visas result in more care workers. They don't.
Exactly.
Believe me, they do. Not only because I'm not just talking about the primary one. Every care worker comes here, then used to have the right to actually bring their relatives in. I used to have cases where somebody was working in a care home and they bring in 14 cousins, completely legally under the previous government's legislation. That has changed.
Well, by the previous government. But I mean, what is Labour doing? What is Labour doing?
Exactly. Labour stopped it. They cancelled it. Hang on a second. They introduced the English language test for a stop, which it should have been done flipping years ago, and they've obviously cut down the number of.
So they're going to test someone's English when they get off the boat, are they?
Say
your English isn't good enough.
No.
Is that what they're going to do?
Sorry, if they want to apply for British citizenship, then they have to actually subscribe to British values and speak the language.
That will never happen.
Is that true? Oh, I'm sorry, it is happening.
We know it will never happen. I mean, look, Starmer wants to introduce this system now to allow more people under the age of 30 or even up to 40 to come in from Europe. How many of those are care workers? It's a completely flawed system that we won't pay care workers, but we will open the doors again to allow more people to come to this country.
The Erasmus scheme is not remotely comparable. These are students, and it's a reciprocal scheme. Our people go to Italy, Italian
students are 28, 29, 27. How many?
Exactly.
They're not really students.
Of course they're not. They're young people.
What we're talking about is this reciprocal. I mean, come on, there's people out there trying to...
It's free movement of labour by the back door, Stephen, and you know it.
Millions of people are enjoying a sunny day, listen, and we're rowing about something that ultimately, surely we can all agree on a few basics.
And also, Stephen, it's dishonest because if say 150,000 come through this scheme, they're not going on the migration figures.
It's
They're
not-
being kept off the books.
And they're not entitled to any benefits. They cannot claim anything here. They cannot claim accommodation.
They go straight into the black
hang
market.
on,
We
hang
know
on.
that.
They cannot go to National Health Service. They cannot apply for
How many
anything.
of these-
And then they go back to their country.
How many of these young men on these dinghies coming over, sometimes 50, 60, 70 people on the same dinghy, how many of them are contributing to our economy?
But Mike, there's a
They're
difference.
not
Mike,
students.
They're
It is
not-
a different-
they're not-
It is a different argument
Totally
to the
different.
Erasmus scheme.
Yeah.
However, the Erasmus scheme is not totally reciprocal because there's a strong advantage for people in other European countries to come here to learn English.
Because of the language, yeah,
English
yeah,
is the
yeah,
global
yeah.
language.
Absolutely.
It's not the case that the same number of British students will go back.
totally agree.
And are we going to extend this to every single member of the
Yeah.
European Union, all 27 countries? That's a
right,
lot of 18 to 30-year-olds, isn't it?
You see lots of people from Liverpool and Birmingham saying, oh, I'm off to Naples or Florence because I want to work there. It just doesn't happen.
No.
Everybody comes here for all the advantages you've just outlined, including free use of the National Health Service.
Well, hang on a second.
Which is amazing.
Mike, I mean, I don't remember Alvida saying, Pet, which is a whole load of Geordie brickies going to work in Germany.
Yes.
People have always worked across borders. in
Come off it.
Yeah.
Alvida's
What's wrong with that?
Pet.
What's wrong with that?
But I think the point is, though,
It was a
Stephen,
drama.
Talk about clutching at
It was a
straws.
TV drama.
Alvinas and Pet proves that the transfer of labour in Europe is working.
That must
Well,
have been-
I'm sorry, no, what it proves is that it's been going on for donkeys.
yes, but it's the scale, isn't it? And
Yes.
I think
No,
most
that's
people-
where we agree.
Exactly. But the problem is...
You and Keir Starmer are on the same
No,
page here.
because the Keir Starmer made a speech that sounded as though he's understood the problem, that on paper sounded like they intended to reform the immigration system.
They won't.
But if you dig through the detail, for example, the reforms on indefinite leave to remain don't apply to people already here.
Yeah.
So it's not going to make the blindest bit of difference to the hundreds of thousands of
Absolutely.
people coming. So it's
Absolutely.
smoke
And by the way,
I'm sorry,
what about the extra benefits we're having to pay now to the 100,000 people who are now on the dole because of the economic policies
Well, hang on a sec.
of Rachel Reeves, who
let's
is
get back to-
economically illiterate. She's
Miriam
illiterate.
has made a very, very salient and important point there. The people who are over here at the
Really
present
quickly.
time, they need to remain here and actually to actually be validated and have their positions sorted out, legalised. But we turn the tap off now.
They shouldn't
the
be
people
here.
who are here at the moment, we need them
They
in the care
should
sector
not
because
be
they are
Don't.
in work
Most
and
of them
contributing.
are not working. The vast
I'm sorry,
majority
they
of
are
people on
working.
visas are not working. They're not. They're mostly dependents and students. A tiny minority are working.
Totally
That's what
agree.
the facts show. Anyway.
Yes.
Let's not confuse this with facts.
Gentlemen, you will be
As usual.
back. You will be back.